Welcome back. The dateline was the city of Jos in the Nigerian state of Plateau. The story, as told through most of the global media, was about a deadly outbreak of violence, killings and reprisal killings between Muslim and Christian Nigerians. It's not that that part of the reporting is inaccurate. It's just that it does not even begin to approach what the story is really about. The situation that led to the massacres is much more complex than that. And when the media break a story down to such a simple narrative, the social fault line between religious groups, they risk fanning the flames of an already volatile situation. The Listening Post's SALAH KHADR now on Nigeria and whether the world's media are getting the story right.
In central Nigeria, the city of Jos is still on high alert.
The real story is very difficult to tell.
They came at night. We're talking about masked men armed with machetes and guns, and they killed hundreds of villagers.
One group of people attacking the other does not necessarily mean they are fighting religious wars.
Sunday's attacks in 3 mostly Christian villages appear to be reprisals.
And I think that's a real sort of challenge for the media.
In the early hours of Sunday, the 7th of March, a communal killing spree near the city of Jos left somewhere between 200 and 500 people dead. Many of the victims were women and children. Within hours, the international media were reporting the story. The headlines spoke of a massacre with religious overtones.
Hubo una masacre de cristianos.
Muslims killing Christians in Nigeria.
Entraron a las aldeas con armas de fuego.
They were reported with a certain degree of hysteria, but I think that a sense of balance and understanding of the nuances and complexities of the situation was very much absent in the coverage.
The victims, well, they were Christian farmers.
International media houses have just collapsed into that Muslim-Christian dynamic.
There is a part of me that is angry with the way it is being portrayed, because I know that that's not the true picture of it.
4 major bursts of Muslim-Christian fighting.
In the West, it's very negative, you know, and then they will say, oh, is this Muslims again? We know that they want to portray Islam as a violent religion.
The religious clash is not the story. It's how did that space get created and what are the political situations and social situations and the issues that are not being addressed.
The backstory that so many failed to tell was of the economic rifts and battles over land ownership that have gripped central Nigeria. To the north of the country are the mostly Muslim Fulani cattle-rearing communities, who face a desperate shortage of land for their animals. In the south are Nigeria's cash-strapped farmers, most of them Christian, who cannot own as much land as they need. The downward migration of the northern cattle farmers has led to a battle over land. This conflict, described by much of the media as a fight between Muslims and Christians, has more to do with economics than religion.
Arable land is getting scarce, and due to the desertification, you remember the desert is always coming down, and a lot of people are moving from rural areas to urban areas, and they are moving to where there are greener pastures. So this also is there is a constant tension and clash between the Fulanis and other people.
Western journalists have a responsibility to help to explore those underlying dynamics, not just come and deal with the consequences.
It's problematic because in Nigeria, there's a lot of friction between the communities. Efforts need to be made to dissipate it, not to exacerbate it. And I think the coverage coming from the international media houses and feeding into that system, there's a lot of potential for danger in that.
And that danger has surfaced repeatedly since clashes first began in Jos, back in 2001. The atmosphere, the tension between communities is often made worse by local media outlets, whose reporting can be very partisan. They take sides, and that makes the role of the international media that are supposed to be above the fray even more important.
The person in Lagos does not rely on Nigerian broadcasting for his or her information, but watch CNN or BBC. And when CNN or BBC continuously repeats a line, there is a danger that it becomes the truth.
Unfortunately, a lot of the media in Nigeria has been bought off, so some of the stories that you read are not always independent. People look to international media to be unbiased, to tell the story as it is and based on facts of what's happening from the perspective of the people that the story is about.
Part of the international media's problem is a lack of resources. Large news organisations are shrinking. they have fewer correspondents to do the job.
In the past, as soon as something like this happened, correspondents who had a grounding of the social issues in a country like Nigeria would be dispatched. But these days, they don't do it any longer because they can't afford it. So they depend on news agencies, and news agencies go by sound bite. People slot it into their knowledge or non-knowledge of Nigeria, and then it becomes an Islam versus Christianity affair.
Religiously motivated.
But it's not just about economics. Conflict is an easy sell in the news business, and the familiar conflict narrative, Muslims fighting Christians, is a storyline that resonates with editors and their audiences, even when that story only scratches the surface of what's really happening.
It's well-known fact that wherever Muslims are engaged in fighting, there is a level of exaggeration and stereotype that, look, these guys are bloodthirsty, they fight, they're irrational, and so on and so forth. That stereotype has to be sustained.
It's like the clash of civilizations mantra that emerged in America after 9/11 about the Christianity and Islam, the West against the East. Those kinds of attitudes are never helpful. And I think that the international media has descended into those groupings again.
More Global Village Voices now on the reporting of the story in Nigeria.
The international media has not been fair in its approach to discussing conflicts, this conflict, most especially African conflicts in general. The idea that the international media seems to have is about either an attempt at genocide, and then it turns into a numbers game. Everybody wants to give numbers.
The media is not helped because the way they've reported the story, they've just reported as mainly Muslims and Christians fighting each other. Yet the core root of the problem is the poverty, the hunger. People are suffering. So as a result, neighbors fight against neighbors because it's a case of survival.
To label this very complex situation a religious issue, I think is a very dangerous step to take, because in doing that, we're actually laying the foundations for a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the consequences of that for Nigeria and Africa as a whole are just too horrendous to contemplate.
Finally, you've probably never heard of a company called Keyhole and an information program it developed called Earth Viewer 3D. But Google saw the program back in 2004, and the company did what it often does when it sees something it likes. It bought it. Google Earth was born, and now millions of people use the virtual globe map and information system. Google Earth relies on satellite imagery and aerial photography. But the people at the website collegehumor.com thought a funnier idea was the notion of a couple of geeks having to map the entire planet. So they ran with that. And the resulting animation is getting hundreds of thousands of hits online. It's our web video of the week. We'll see you next time at The Listening Post.
We're done. We did it all. Every street in the world.
Awesome job. Not quite done yet. We just need you guys to do one more thing, and that's photograph the entire planet from every angle at every altitude. Amy, can you get these guys 2 waters? 2 bottle of waters? Cool. All right. So we'll see you when you get back.
Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal.
Oh, looks like ice cream. Oh, here we are, North Korea.
Let's cool out here. This is kind of actually dangerous territory. These guys are crazy.
These guys are crazy.
No, I'm serious. This is North Korea. This is no joke.
Hey, you want dumpling with... Oh, God.
Hey, look at that UFO.
I don't think it's a UFO. It's my friend Falcon. Hi, Falcon.
He's not
That's
in there.
my friend Falcon's balloon.
He's not in there.
What?
So mid-October. Not Diggy anymore. It's gonna take forever. It's gonna take forever. Let's go faster.
What?
Let's go faster.
Let's go faster, Mike. Yeah.
Let's just go.
That sounds great.
Speed it up. Speed up the balloon.
Fire all engines.
Yeah. Whoa. We're going really fast. We're going.
Oh boy, this is gonna
Mega
be fast.
speed.
Oh, here it comes. Oh. Oh man, that's deep.